Hey everyone, or nobody, or whoever decides to join, welcome. I'm trying to hold on 1 second. All right. So we had a juicer that was given to us, and it says rotate. Shit. Anyways, we had a juicer that was given to us, and it's broken. So we have to just blend our. Oh my god, you guys! I gotta put my little phone button on. It's gonna pop out again. All right, there we go. So yeah, I had a juicer that was handed down to me, and it's actually not working. So we're gonna try and send it back. So now what I'm just gonna do is blend, make a like a smoothie, I guess. It's just like I was pretty excited about the juicer. A little bit let down. But that's no big deal. We can still get some good stuff in with the blender. Oh my god. I hate cutting carrots. I think it's like the sketchiest thing in the world. My juicer was handed down to me by my dad. And I don't know if it was just like, he never really used it all that much. But I'm not really sure what happened to it. But the motor won't start. Yeah, I know. R.I.P. my dad and his juicer. He took the juicer to heaven with him. So I guess the juicer is working on a different plane now, probably. You know. So I'm just cutting these carrots up so that they get blended as best as they can, because that's why I was so excited about our juicer, is that I don't want it to be gritty, but I'll deal with it this time. And I've got kale in there. Try and squeeze this orange in here. I got kale, some frozen raspberries and blueberries, and carrots. My cat scratched my finger earlier, so this feels really great. Probably gonna get like a cat scratch fever or something now. Stupid cat. Just kidding, I love my cat. But he's dumb. I love my cat. Ow, it burns.
He wants more cereal.
More who? Elijah wants more. Elijah was like a bottomless pit. Squeeze it on in there. These oranges are so good. They were sent to me actually by a lovely person that basically helped raise me. She is very nice. And her uncle has a farm up north in California. And so like everybody loves the oranges from that farm. Or orchard. I don't know what it is. It's probably a farm, and he probably grows fruit too. I don't know. I might need more orange, but we'll see. I'm going to take this over here with me. And I'm probably going to put half an avocado in it too, just to make it nice and creamy. So let's see. And a little bit of honey would be good. Oh my god, wait. This isn't even where I have the blender. Yogurt is a little fattening. I'm trying to just do like I don't know. I would do yogurt if there weren't carrots in it. I feel like, I don't know, or kale. I don't have any yogurt right now, also. So just doing like a basic thing. Yeah, but I'm trying to lose weight. I can't afford any yogurt right now. On my tummy. I'm actually not like, excuse my pajamas. I've been cleaning actually and relaxing today. I have a little, like a table, yeah, that was probably like a teaspoon of honey. A little teaspoon of honey. Let's see. Where's the lid? The lid is over here. Avocado's good. Avocado's good for smoothies because you can't taste it.
The witness even described the tattoo that I have on my chest and said
I know, it sounds a little weird. Avocado in a smoothie, right? But isn't that a beautiful avocado? I'll tell you how it works. We'll see. I've done it before, and I swear I couldn't taste it, so.
they sure tried to set me up, though. They even said that
The lid is here. Okay. But yeah, if it was like for breakfast, I'd be more down to, I feel like, hold on. Does the lid go? The handle goes there. All right, there we go. It's kind of like a puzzle sometimes. I got this like Hamilton Beach blender. I got this Hamilton Beach blender, and it has this like lid, and it's supposed to be like more of a quiet thing. So let me turn it on. So you tell me what you think. Does it sound quieter than most blenders, or we're gonna put smoothie? I think it's quieter. I used ice water. I used ice water and frozen fruit. And all my veggies, oh my god, all my veggies were really cold. So we'll see. Anyways, let's see. I'm gonna do it again because I can still see that it's kind of chunky. Chunky monkey. Clearly someone is triggered by my last video I made. What? It's the blender. Yeah. How's your cereal? What do you got there? That goes to the milk. Give me that. Okay, give me that. Give me your spoon. I don't know what you guys are talking about right now. Alright, so this should be fine. Made enough to last. This is gonna be my lunch right now because like I'm just like over the dishes. I don't want to do any more dishes, and this is super easy to clean up after. Like you just rinse it. It does taste good. I cannot taste the avocado in it. I do taste a little bit of the kale, but mostly tastes like fruit. Honestly, it's pretty good actually. Do you like it, Ray? I wanted more of it to. I wanted it to be more like a juice than like a smoothie. So that worked out, right? What do you think?
It's really good. Yeah. I like the citrus taste.
I don't know. I don't know what you guys are talking about at all. Here, babe, do you know what they're talking about? Don't say his name if that's who I think it is. Is that who they're talking about? You or the other person? That's what I thought. Here, I'm gonna. I want to drink my lunch. Whoa, what's this doing here? Elijah, where's the cap? Give me the yellow cap.
I have it.
Oh, okay. Well, okay.
Alright, what's up, everybody?
So that Hamilton,
I look like shit right now. I have to clean
that
up.
Hamilton Beach blender is, or whatever, Hampton Brandon. Oh no, sorry, the Hamilton Beach blender.
The Hampton Brandon blender.
Is really, it's a good blender. It blends it up nicely. I recommend it.
So how y'all doing?
Will you give Moxie this avocado so it makes her breast milk really fast?
Gotta give my dog some avocado.
For her future puppies. No, here, put on your hand like this. She eats it good. Like that. Turn the camera. We give our dog avocado all the time. No, not you. You're not pregnant. Hey, scoot. Here, you can eat that.
What do you do?
She won't bite my hand.
She bites my hand.
She might bite her hand. I don't know. That's the thing is that when you get dogs,
I forgive her.
I was
It's
always
okay.
like told that when you get dogs, if you have a female dog, usually they love the male owner. And if you have a male dog, usually it loves the female owner. And that's so true in this house.
She's so cute. She has avocado on her chin.
This guy doesn't listen at all, and he eats my things, intentionally eats all my stuff. And she's super nice to me and like protective of me and like defends me to the death, I guess.
Yeah.
Except that one time. Who remembers that one time she didn't defend me?
Which one?
When that homeless guy chased me
Oh,
down
yeah,
the street.
she fucking ran.
Yeah, she ran all the way up the street. And oh man. That was gay. She is in the midst, okay? Yeah. Currently.
What? Moxie?
Oh yeah, she is in the midst of pregnancy.
Here, look.
Yes, if that's what you're talking about.
Look at her.
She is in
I
the...
think she is. I mean, her boobs look
No,
big.
she is. She's got some buns.
Ew.
She's got some
Don't
buns in
lick
the
her
oven.
off.
He's over here with this. Let's not do that. Although honey is antiseptic, but now I have to like wipe the outside of
You had
that.
like 2 bowls of cereal.
They each had like a ton of cereal.
What else do you want? Goldfish?
That's like their 4th breakfast already. No, I'm just kidding. They had a bunch of stuff for breakfast, and then breakfast carried on into lunch.
Okay.
since
It
they
never
didn't
stops
they didn't
growing.
want to eat hamburgers. They wanted to eat cereal. So
All day. Growing toys.
they're gonna drink some of that juice too, huh? Can you try and get Elijah to?
Maybe Elijah, yeah.
He'll drink it. Jordan probably won't like that.
Here, try it.
So what's up, everybody? How y'all doing today? Everything may seem to not be okay, but really it is okay. Yeah, I know. It's all in the eventually everybody's the same and life goes on for the next generation.
I need goldfish.
Here, I got it.
There's a great equalizer and it comes at the very end for all of us. And then we're equal.
Here, baby.
You live about 75 to 110 years if you're lucky. Sometimes not that long. And then you're equal to everybody
Did you guys
that.
call it back from the, oh my God! Look! Turn the camera around. Look what happens when you leave your pregnant dog for 1 second.
Hi. Yeah. So you want to talk about how you just stole the last of his cereal?
Excuse me, ma'am. Can you get off the table, please? Are you? We're not. This is unacceptable, Moxie. Ew, it's all slobbery. Moxie. Moxie. No, naughty. Bad girl, go lay down. Go lay down, Moxie. You're bad. That's naughty.
How many puppies? Do you guys want to take bets on how many puppies she's got inside of her right now? That's the sire. That's the one with the balls.
Sire Zeus.
I'm gonna drink the rest of this, dude.
There's more in the thing. It's good, right? Turned out good. I put a ton of kale in it.
I like kale.
Kale tastes
I
good.
think kale's delicious. No,
I
everybody.
want to try and make kale chips, though.
We're not vegan, although I probably should be at this point because like meat doesn't agree with my stomach
Yeah, it
anymore.
literally doesn't. I'm
Like-
trying to warm them up to a more plant-based.
Meat, meat just like sometimes I'll eat too much meat, like I'll
Here's
gorge
the thing.
on meat and then I'll throw up.
Nick likes to eat when, after certain activities happen. And he likes to eat all day. Likes to nosh on things, like literally all day.
So if I have a high meat diet, if there's a lot of meat around, and I just eat like a ton of steak, or I'll eat like a ton of steak, like a mountain of steak, or like I'll eat like 5 hamburgers, or I'll eat like
Elijah, you have your own
17 tacos, or something ridiculous, you know?
chair. Dude could literally eat 17 tacos,
Oh, maybe.
like twice a day. I've seen you do it.
Or even sushi, but that sushi is better
Yeah,
because it's
sushi's
not so
so
greasy.
Fish used to be like the better thing to eat, but now since it's all like either farmed or like from the fucking polluted ocean.
Phil says Jewish stomachs can't handle grease.
Yeah, it's true. I don't know. My stomach is. My dad used to say that I had like a cast iron stomach. Literally nothing affects my stomach.
Yeah, she's got no problems. I like just have to stay away from meat and like dairy too. For some reason, like if I drink a ton of milk, like if I just sit there and I'll just be like, oh man, I feel like drinking chocolate milk today, and I'll make something like this big of chocolate milk and just drink it, I'm paying for it later. I'm really gonna pay for it later. And that one makes it all the way through. You know what I mean? I don't throw up milk often. I've thrown up milk before though. If I throw up milk, it's because I drink it and I like try and fall asleep afterwards, or like I'll lay down. For some reason, my stomach doesn't digest well when I'm laying down. That's why a lot of the time you'll see me walking around.
Okay,
And,
because gravity, Nick.
yeah, standing up. I stand up a lot because sitting or laying down. Sitting is fine, but laying down hurts my stomach if I'm like still digesting food. And because I eat so much food, I just eat like an abundance of food most days.
He's like a dog.
Like, yeah, if we have it in our house, I've eaten some of it today, every day, until it's gone. You know, I'm like, oh, well, I want.
I forgot to mention that all the vegetables vegetables and fruit were organic.
Oh yeah, and this is fully organic.
I know people say like, oh, it doesn't matter and blah blah blah, but I mean, whatever. Fuck it.
I like the kale. It's good filler. Everyone is lactose intolerant to a certain extent. I can't handle too much either. My mother blames the Polish side. Yeah, the milk. I don't know.
Yeah, it's notorious, like a notorious. Like I remember my dad was telling me that Ashkenazi men have a hard time with dairy products. Like notoriously have bad stomachs. I don't know if it's a woman thing too, but
Basically, the script that the stream runs around is that we were living in LA. You know, we've lived there for 30 years. We both grew up out there. We knew each other when we were 15. We reconnected about 5 years ago in 2015. 2014, 2015, we like reconnected. She got pregnant like right away. Like 9 months went by. We did like barely any social media, just little things here and there. And she had our first son. I was fighting a case in Lancaster. Signal Hill, California.
where's the sonogram pictures go?
Signal Hill, California was trying to set me up. And I can honestly say that with evidence. Yeah, it's us. You knew it. Yep, it's us. And Signal Hill, California was trying to set me up. They were trying to say that I like broke someone's car window and like stole a purse or some shit, but like I'd never even been to Signal Hill, California. So I beat that case even though the police had planted fingerprint evidence. They planted a crime scene. They planted a witness who said that I had my tattoo on my chest,
Looks like Elijah.
on my back. No, it's Jordan.
No, this one's Elijah.
Look at the date. These are sonogram from that pregnancy, from the first one.
Where's the Elijah ones?
They're in another book. I have them somewhere else. No, I have them. They're in the.
Look how cute.
They're in the
There was
garage.
just a little bean in there. I missed that.
And this whole time for six court dates, I had to go to Signal Hill, California, and tell them how I did nothing, and that all the evidence that they said that they had, that the police had, we wanted to subpoena. And after the sixth time I went to court, the prosecutor said that the police were being uncooperative with providing evidence pertinent to the case, so they dropped the case against me. And no lawyer would touch the case like a hot potato. So we decided we were going to leave Los Angeles. And she was pregnant. She had her second baby with me in 2016. And he had a medical issue, an emergency.
It wasn't something that was like detrimental to his survival, but at the time that it happened, it like really was he was like in a bad state because
He had a milk allergy.
His immune system was weakened by his milk allergy, and then
He had a urinary tract infection.
and then he got a urinary tract infection, and then he just lost like so much weight.
He lost weight and wasn't gaining weight and wouldn't eat breast milk and was
I was
refusing.
feeding him every hour, trying to breastfeed him every hour.
So we took him to the hospital and they like took
And
care
that
of
was,
him
like,
with
when
her.
he was like 8 weeks old. So up until he was 8 weeks old, he was just like not feeling well. And don't think that I wasn't taking him to the doctor.
No, we were there all the time.
I took him to the doctor like probably once a week. You know what
At
I mean?
least.
Yeah, like at least. Like he's
For the
not,
first couple weeks, it was like 4 times a week.
yeah, like he's not doing well, and they were like, "Well, just keep trying, keep trying, keep trying." So I literally was feeding him every hour for like a month.
And it was tough. And so I was at home taking care of our older son, and she was at the hospital taking care of our younger son. And that stopped us from moving. And then eventually, we started to collect our animals. You know, like we had him, or I mean, we had her, and we got the other one after our baby recovered, and her dad was diagnosed with cancer and passed away pretty quickly after he was diagnosed. He lived about 6 months.
No. He lived for a year. He
lived a year.
They probably told him that he had about 6 months, and he made it for a year.
And so that also stopped us from leaving LA. We wanted to bury him and like be here for that. And finally, I mean, it took us so long to get out of Los Angeles that we got targeted again. Not only like did we already had made plans to leave LA and things just kept stopping us from leaving LA, but then on our way out of LA, one of my old people that I don't want to talk about anymore because they don't like they don't want me to talk about them and I don't want to talk about them and it's mutual. Um, that we were targeted by a bunch of people and no one in specific. And I'm not making this video to expose anybody or talk about the past. But we were made to leave that place. And if we didn't leave, we were going to be set up again. Like I was going to be set up on some legal shit and I was going to be a prisoner in my own house. For a while, I was a prisoner in my own house. I had people stalking me, lurking on my front doorsteps, trying to catch me and my wife leaving. And like I had people threatening to assault me at the gas station.
Right when we were packing and leaving with the U-Haul, there was so much street theater going on.
Yeah, there was a lot of street theater involved. Not so much road theater.
No.
Road theater was like
They
years
left us
ago.
alone.
Yeah, years ago we would experience road theater. And road theater and street theater is basically the same thing. It's just when you're in a car and different tactics. But on our way out of there, we experienced a lot of street theater. And people were trying to pin me as being something that I'm not because I do like method acting and play characters and have fun like with current events and politics. And I just like to do that to stay relevant. And I'm not ashamed to admit that. Like my biggest fear in the whole world is becoming completely irrelevant. And that's why I'm here in the first place.
Oh man, you just shared that with everybody?
No, I've already shared that. If you go on
you're
my
in trouble. That's why they do that to you.
probably, and that's okay. But yeah, exactly.
You don't share your biggest fear?
It was just a show of machismo to show that I'm not scared of dying. Like death is not my biggest fear. I fear not mortality. We're all gonna go there at some point. Every one of us is gonna die.
I
It's
was done.
however scared you are of dying is how much control and power it has over your life.
That was not a good chess move.
No, but I mean that's the same
Not
thing.
even now.
No, because it makes the people who I don't want to hear my content not able to hear it either because they don't want to be a viewer. It's only the
They can
people
just go
who are
to the-
interested in the
they
things
can
that I
just
have to
turn
say.
off- They can just go from a browser that's not on and see it.
Well, then I made that mistake a long time ago, though. That video I made a long time ago. But yeah, I mean, it's things that I said, and I do have personal beliefs. I do think communism is fucked up, okay? And that's safe to say. Most people in the world probably think that, like, communism is fucked up. Unless they don't know about communism and what goes along with communism. And I maybe was a little bit too friendly in my neighborhood, and I was going up to everybody when I was walking my dog, anybody that would walk by, and I would say, hey, weird things, like, did you know that a vote for the Democratic Party is a vote for the neo-communist party? Or do you know what trans-fascist neo-communism is? Or, like, trans-neo-fascist communism? Like, weird shit like that. And it was because I was, like, I grew up watching Tom Green. I grew up watching, like, Jackass. And, like, I grew up watching all these shows where people would go out into the street and, like, film Andy Milonakis talking to people, like the Man Show with Jimmy Kimmel and Adam Carolla. Yeah, I grew up listening to Loveline. Like, communication with John Q. Public and Jane Q. Public has always been super funny to me. Like Monty Python, it was always just strangers talking in the street. And they would have like this hysterical dialogue. And so I always tried to like start that dialogue. I went to football games. I went to football games and I was saying that the people who were taking a knee at the national anthem, I'd call them squatters. And I'd be like, real men stand, like, because real men do stand when we pee. We don't sit down to pee. We stand up to pee. And real men stand up when we hear the national anthem, too. And I thought it was a really funny conversation starter, and it's not like obviously, like,
What's going on?
you know, like it had like a funny ring to it. It was like real men stand up, you know, stand up for your national anthem, or like don't be a squatter. Are you gonna stand up or are you gonna squat like a girl, or like are you gonna stand up like a man, or are you gonna squat like a girl when that national anthem comes on? You know, and shit like that. I always just go out and do funny things, you know, like even with my friend now, I guess Baked Alaska, he used to stream, right? And he would go IRL streaming. And he didn't know that, like, I'm not threatened by anyone's political views. You know, like I'm not out here like scared of any kind of politics. I just don't like certain kind of politics. And like, you know, at the time I didn't understand like what all these right-wing trolls were like, you know, they were manipulating the guy, I guess, and like, you know, making him say and do things and stuff. And so I was out there in the street, like I would go and run into him at like rallies and shit, and I'd be like, disavow David Duke, you know, just to see if I could start a conversation where he'd be like, why should I disavow David Duke? But he was always like, thought I was probably some hardcore like leftist or something, and like got skittish and was like, "Ugh," like I don't really want to associate with this person. And I don't blame him. You know, sometimes I come on a little like cringy. I come off a little cringy. I'm like, yeah, hey dude, disavow Hitler, disavow David Duke, you know, like that's not things that someone just normally goes up and says to people. But then again, the same as Baked Alaska's excuse for like being in that kind of atmosphere or saying those kind of things, like he had people in his ear telling him what to do and what to say, you know, like all these further right-wing trolls than him that were basically telling him what to parrot.
No, it's like what Golden Coin
It's
said in your
what it's yeah, it's the same thing happened to me, where I would have people in my ear saying like, hey dude, it would be really funny if you said this.
Discord.
Yeah, Discord is bad for the most part. I don't know. I've met a couple cool people from Discord, but not.
Nick, Discord is bad. Just say you don't have to defend anyone.
Yeah,
They
Discord.
wouldn't say that about you to anybody.
Discord could be a incredible tool or an incredible weapon.
Depends on what side you're on.
Yeah, it depends what side you're on. And it could be used against you or you can use it. So, my wife doesn't use Discord, so why would she want anyone else to have an incredible tool or a horrifying weapon that can be used against us?
What?
I use Discord, but not to that extent.
You don't use it.
No, I mean, like, I used to use Discord, but not to that extent.
Going on Discord and using Discord is two separate.
Yeah, that's true too. Going on Discord and using Discord is two totally separate things. But eventually, okay, let me get back to the story. Is that after we were targeted for my political views and our neighbors were not happy with the way I was talking to them, you know, like many, many neighbors, I would go up to them and I would try and address the topic of communism, and they didn't like that. And so I was basically kicked out of the neighborhood. And that was our opportunity to leave California. And it felt like we were being empowered to leave. You know, it was like, it felt great. It was like, yes, and this is why we're leaving, because these people do support communism. You know, these people do support cultural Marxism and a tier system, a caste system that me and my wife are at the bottom of because my ancestors were slave owners. And you know, her ancestors were probably slave owners.
I don't think so. Actually.
They may have been, dude. I mean, I've gone back, right?
I know.
You-
I gotta do ancestry.
You never know where your ancestry came from until you do
I
it.
did 23andMe. I wouldn't do 23andMe. I would do ancestry if you want to know like what your lineage has been through, not only
Like what you're prone to.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you might get this disease when you get older.
I don't
And
really care what fucking disease I get.
yeah, hers is the doomsday clock. Like
Yeah,
the
like, that's
23andMe is the doomsday clock. Basically, it tells you like how you're gonna die, which is great. It's great to know like what kind of
I don't have any
cancer
diseases.
you're gonna have. I would. They'd be like, you're prone to like pre-diabetes at like 27 from eating too much cheese. Like, yeah.
Dude loves cheese.
I do love cheese. You know, I used to get the rolls of mozzarella cheese, like the big rolls
Oh
of
my god.
like
Like the balls.
the wet rolls or like the balls, the
The balls.
boccocellis,
Oh.
and I would just pop them in my mouth. And I would eat
You know,
like
like the
a
Costco
whole
ones?
thing of them.
Like
A
the
whole
ones
thing
that
of
you
them.
get from Costco.
Was it Napoleon was also like a big cheese guy, right?
Yeah.
That was Napoleon. I'm like Napoleon 2.0. Actually, I met Napoleon. Like Kim Sorgente from the LA Patriot
Oh, yeah,
movement.
totally.
I don't know if you know this, but Kim Sorgente from the Los Angeles Patriot movement is absolutely time traveling Napoleon Bonaparte. 100%. Go look him up. Kim Sorgente is absolutely 125%
With Bonaparte.
either reincarnated Napoleon Bonaparte or it is time traveler Napoleon Bonaparte. What an interesting time to time travel to, like 2017 to be a Trump supporter. I know it's 2019 right now. I'm saying I met him in 2017. Back then, back when I met Kim Sorgente, it was weird. Being a Trump supporter in Los Angeles is total street theater.
Yeah, but
It is the most.
We ended up in a part of Arizona where somebody also ended up. And,
Oh, a lot of people ended up out here now too.
And we literally ended up here because we did like so much research on like statistics and before we moved. And this was like one of the
Nicest, safest areas.
that was most compatible for what we were looking for.
And we're moving again to another nicest, safest area. It's just a little bit different. A little bit different. And we'll all see how different it is.
It's like a really nice area that could be next to somewhere that may not
It's
be.
got potential.
Yeah.
And we'll see. Over the next 20 years, you guys just follow this channel for 20 years. You guys follow this channel for 20 years. And you'll see it's going to be like,
You're gonna watch
it's going to be a trip.
city develop.
You're going to watch a city develop
It
in
could be bad, it could be good.
front of your very eyes. Hopefully not a city, like a suburb, like a fun little
That's
suburb.
what I meant, sorry.
We don't like cities.
Cities.
All right, everybody. Well, there's no viewers left, so I'm gonna go for now. I hope you all have a really, really fantastic evening.
If you're juicer, if you don't have money,
Stretching feels so good.
if you don't have money to blow on a juicer, then a blender works just as well. A good blender.
Anybody like to stretch their shoulder blades? It's like my favorite thing to do.
Let's show her tummy. Puppies or not?
What do you guys think? Do you think that she's gonna have puppies or no?
That's beautiful. What are you singing?
So I hope you liked our story. We ended up in Arizona. We moved out here in October of last year. We moved out here.
If you're changing cities or if you're changing states, look up statistics.
Oh yeah, you gotta look up statistics before you move. Find out the crime rate. Let me tell you something. Did you know that Tucson, Arizona has one sex offender per every 200 people? Where we live right now has one sex offender for every 2,500 people. So be really careful because we're only like 100 miles away from Tucson. But where we live has 1 in 2,500 people are sex offenders. In Tucson, Arizona, it is 1 in every 200 people. So you really got to be careful where you move to. And also, I highly recommend looking for areas that are only sheriff jurisdiction, not police. Because the police has a tendency to be highly corruptible. And also, because of the forced diversity within the departments are forced to hire minorities and women. And obvious gay people and stuff like that in order to make their demographic appear very colorful. And they like to use those people for the photo shoots and stuff like that. It's all a show. But yeah, the police are, it's like fake, dude. The police are fucking fake. I'm sure that some of them are respectable human beings, but from my experience, like having a police department jurisdiction where you live is not a good idea, and it's just one more set of prosecutors that are going to try and press charges on you in order to gain money for their community, and which is messed up. The county prosecutors are much more lenient than the city prosecutors. City prosecutors are bastards, and I'm willing to just go on the record and say that. And the police departments, because of the forced diversity, you know, like if I get pulled over by an African American cop who thinks that I'm a racist, now I'm gonna get treated like, you know, shit. And it's the luck of the draw with the police. With the sheriffs, they're more constitutionalist, whereas they treat everyone the same. There's less identity politics within the sheriff's department. I promise you, within the police department, they have their whole own little identity politics games going on, and it's just all about targeting the weakest person on the streets at that time. Really, it is a game. It's a setup, and it's set up to fuck with you, and you pay for it. That's the worst part, is you're paying into it every time you pay your taxes.
So watch out.
So, yep.
And you don't know who their kids are either. So watch out for that.
Yeah, and that's true too. Be careful who you fuck with, because for all you know, they might know a police officer, they might be linked with the police department. And I'm not saying all cops are bastards, because they're not. Like
they still deserve to live.
Like they absolutely deserve to have the badge and the gun and the power, because they don't abuse it. I'm talking about officers that abuse the power, and like from my experience, there's a few of them in Signal Hill, California, who abuse the power, don't deserve to have it, you know, and that's just the way it is that you have to fight when your rights as a law-abiding citizen are being taken away from you. You need to know the right questions to ask. Like if you're stopped unlawfully, you can ask for their probable cause or their reasonable suspicion for the stop. If I could recommend something to anyone who's been on the wrong side of law enforcement, it would be to take criminal justice classes. In California, it was called AJ1 and AJ6, Administration of Justice. If you take Administration of Justice classes, then you know all the chess plays, you know all, like you can go all the way to the end until they come up with some reason why you're suspicious or why they had probable cause to stop you. You know all your rights. Literally just take the first one, take AJ1, and you know enough to get yourself out of an unlawful stop, and you know your rights as a citizen. Oh shit.
Is that what you do though?
No, if you're stopped by the cops, what you do is you address them like they're the authority, because they are. So what you do is you do exactly what they tell you to do until their request lawful. And if you absolutely don't want to talk to the cops and they're at your window knocking, harassing you, you don't put them like on blast and start insulting them and cussing them out. I mean, you can, that's your right, but that just makes you more of a target next time. It's going to leave those cops with a chip on their shoulder.
What is reasonable doubt?
Reasonable suspicion.
Oh. No, I thought there was something called reasonable doubt.
I mean, there is, but that's something totally different.
Oh, okay.
It's probable cause or reasonable suspicion, and if they don't have either of those two things, then that's an unlawful stop. And most people don't know that. They also don't know that they can ask these questions, but you have to address the officers with respect. If you don't treat an officer with the respect that they purportedly deserve, I mean, they've earned the badge, they've earned the right to carry their firearm, they've earned the right to make a lawful arrest. So they do have an authority. And so you do have to treat them with a certain amount of respect if you want to get any kind of a respect back, or else they can treat you like a suspect, because that's their job. Their job is to identify who suspects are, and you know, sometimes they'll make up a crime, so be careful. You don't want to like piss off a cop.
Don't act like a little brat and scream things at them and
I don't know. I mean, like, it made them go away. I know this. I know what you're talking about. She's talking about. Can I say what you're talking about?
No.
Okay.
I don't believe that
Not
that
me.
was a real situation.
I'm just gonna say it wasn't me. It was someone else she's talking about.
I don't believe that that was an honest situation, and I believe what actually really happened was that now he actually gets bothered a lot more, right? Maybe, perhaps?
That's what I'm saying is that when you piss off the cops like that, don't expect them to be nice to you next time.
They're gonna find a reason to bother you.
So just if they know that
You
you've
want
gone
them
to
go
classes,
away, then just be nice. Do what
also
they want.
if they pull you over and you've already addressed them, you know, like politely, and you say, hey, you know, I've taken my criminal justice classes, like what's your probable cause or reasonable suspicion? I know my rights, and you come off like a stable, sane human being, then they mainly will leave you alone, or else anyone in their right mind would start recording that officer because they know that the officer works for them at base level. Like, you pay your taxes, those officers are employed by you. So they are your employee, and at that point, yes, you should start recording them if you feel like your rights are being violated. But until your rights are being violated,
Unless you're not paying your taxes, then
you know, don't antagonize the law. You know, I mean, no one comes to your job and fucking...
Oh, well, maybe not. That is not really all that true anymore.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they do. Who knows? Anyway, I hope you gathered something from this. But,
I'm gonna change the name of the title. Well-rounded advice.
yeah, well-rounded legal advice. Oh yeah, and people out there, they're all like fucking streaming and shit, and they're like, hey man, do you have any weed? Do you have any weed? Hey, be really fucking careful, because they don't have a medical marijuana card and they're catching you dealing them drugs on camera. Just
Even if you're
just
not
saying.
paying money for it,
No, it's like
and you
controlled
smoke them out,
substances.
you can't do that.
You can't do that. There are some streamers out there that ask people on the street if they want to smoke them out or whatever and shit. And if that person doesn't have like a marijuana card in that state, then they should not be doing that, because they're trapping people. Beware of any streamer that you see smoking weed in a state that they don't belong in, or have like
Well, soliciting.
an ID, or they're soliciting it. Be really careful, because there's a lot of people out here who are like trapping big time. You know what I mean?
If I'm a felon, then you're gonna be a felon.
Yeah, exactly. If I'm a felon, then you're going to be a felon, and this person's going to be a felon, and I want everybody to be felons so they're just as angry as I am.
That's the mentality of these people.
That's a gang stalker for you. Is somebody who's
Perpetrator.
Yeah, a perpetrator, somebody who's just been fucked over so many times that they're just willing to start fucking other people over. They don't want anyone to have anything nice. It's like if I don't know, there's no example. It's like somebody who had everything burned up in a house fire, so then they start burning other people's houses down. You know? Like, just because your house burned down doesn't mean nobody else can have anything nice, and you can't just appreciate that somebody else has something. You know what I mean?
Or just ignore it and work hard.
Yep. Or get your own shit. That's another one.
That's what I said. Work hard to get your own.
Yeah, get your own shit. All right, everyone. Well, I'm gonna go. Do you want to show off what you're eating right now?
Mm-mm.
Why is it despisable?
No, it's just peas. Why would I want to do that?
Wow, everybody, look at how healthy we eat now. We're trying to do so much
I made
better.
it for Elijah, but no.
Nah, he's not gonna eat it.
No, he likes that. It's home food.
All right.
Be respectful.
Yeah, be respectful, everybody. If you haven't checked out on my other channel, I made a stream the other day.
Mean Dick lost his hat.
Oh, Mean Dick lost his hat, dude. That's sad.
Where is it? It's gone?
Yeah, it's gone. It's out
Go
there.
check out Mean Dick's channel if you want to see what happened to his hat.
Yeah, and go check out my other channel. It's just Nick. I don't know. I don't have a last name on that channel anymore. It's just Nick. And the picture is like me with like flames around my face and shit. I don't know. And so that channel, I posted a video of my ancestry. basically we did the ancestry thing. And that's my kids' ancestry too. So I'm like really proud because one day they can watch that video and know where they came from and their story of how 1/8 of their ancestors got here. You know what I mean? I don't, I'm maybe more, but I only tracked down that family line. You know what I mean?
Elijah, do you want to bite?
So I know that 1/8 of their ancestry comes from some crazy bloodlines of like 7 kings in consecutive succession.
Will you eat it?
I don't want any. And okay. And so go check out that channel. Also, go check out the Mean Dick. What's up, Noel? Michelle Noel Creations. Do you know Michelle Noel Creations?
Yeah, I do.
Hi,
Yeah,
Michelle
hi.
Noel. Hi.
Hope you're having a good day today. It's a little cloudy where we are.
So yeah. She says hi, Jesse. So yeah, these little guys over here, I don't really show them on stream too much anymore. But these little guys over here, they're related to William the Conqueror and his 7 grandchildren. So like 7 kings after William, or no, 6 kings after William the Conqueror. You have like William the Conqueror, and then you have Henry first through third, and then you have Edward first through third, and they're all like related by blood, like father son, father son, father son, father son, father son, and they were all kings, and they're direct descendants. Like I'm a great grandchild of them, and so are they now, and so that's really cool. That because of ancestry, I got to like pass on that information to them. And my grandpa, who I never spoke to. I never ever got a chance to know my grandfather on my mom's side.
Or you called him recently.
That's the first time I've ever called him.
Yeah, but it was a good phone call.
Yeah, it wasn't I'm nothing against him. We were just separate, you know, like we had separate lives. Like my mom and dad never stayed together. I was never horribly close with my mom. Like we're nice to each other and we love each other, and she's supportive of me and stuff, but she's like more or less like busy. You know, she has a job and her own family and life and stuff. And her dad and her don't talk, you know, for whatever reason. And so because they never talked, we never talked. You know, it just worked out that way. And so after I found out who he was related to, you know, his ancestry and stuff, I reached out to him and I called him and I congratulated him on the information and I introduced myself as his grandson. That was the only time we've ever spoken, was that one time. We met when I was a baby twice or something. He says twice. I only think it was once, but you know, like that's something that I noticed about ancestry is that there was 7 generations and they were all kings in a row. 7 generations. And they never turned their back on any of their relatives. They never like, you know, dissented on any of their like. But anyway, one last thing. Now I didn't even talk to my grandfather but once in my whole life. So let's just take a look at how the world is changing and shit, like with all these divorces and adoptions and shit like that. Like I'm not a big fan. I wish we could go back to, I wish we could go back in history. I wish we could go back to the way it was in like the year 1000. The only problem is the population is just too fucking high now. And that's the problem, is that there's no real sense of community. And I hate the word community, but there is no sense of community. It's a fake sense because it's too large. It's really literally too large to get to know everybody on a personal level. And that village that you used to be able to rely on to help raise your child, you know the phrase, it takes a village to raise a child. Now that village is so large that you don't know if there is a predator in that village that's waiting for your child. So, go ahead. What were you going to say?
Nothing. I want
Daddy,
my
this is my
phone back.
doggy.
She wants her phone back, so I got to go. And there's nobody.